You might have come across the viral video showcasing an entire podcast section of Joe Rogan generated using AI. The artificial intelligence chatbot ChatGPT crafted a 51-minute episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, featuring strikingly accurate renditions of both the podcast host's voice and OpenAI CEO Sam Altman's voice. The episode commences with the AI-generated Rogan welcoming listeners to the first episode of the Joe Rogan AI Experience, speaking in a manner and tone that are nearly indistinguishable from the actual individual.
I'm your host, Joe Rogan, or at least that's what this AI model thinks I sound like. Let me tell you folks, this is some next level stuff we've got going on here today.
The fake Rogan continues.
Every single word of this podcast has been generated with the help of ChatGPT.
Throughout the podcast, the synthetic voices of Rogan and Altman address various topics such as the importance of ethics in AI, ChatGPT's potential influence on the entertainment industry, and whether people should worry about fabricated AI content. To an unsuspecting listener, the conversation between the two artificial voices might seem genuine. However, there are instances where Rogan and Altman's syntax and speech patterns seem overly exaggerated and unnatural. For instance, ChatGPT attempted to mimic natural pauses in human speech by using filler words like ah and to simulate the progression of authentic and staggered thought. Yet, these pauses were sometimes overly repetitive and unnecessary. Similarly, when the artificial Rogan poses a question, the AI-generated Altman repeats the question before responding to it. While this is a common tactic among public speakers to confirm their understanding of the question, the repetition after nearly every question makes the conversation awkward, as nobody speaks like that in reality. The YouTube channel that posted the AI-generated dialogue also uploaded another convincing fake conversation, this time between Joe Rogan and former President Donald Trump. The fabricated 32-minute interview featuring these two well-known personalities start with a disclaimer stating that AI, through ChatGPT, generated all the spoken words. Even though the voices aren't real, the conversation's content accurately mirrors their typical expressions and discussion topics. The episode kicks off with Rogan inquiring,
"How you doing, Mr. President?"
Joe, it's great to be here. I'm doing fantastic, just fantastic. The energy in this room is tremendous.
That's great to hear. So, Mr. President, I gotta ask you, are you a fan of the UFC?
Joe, let me tell you, I love the UFC. It's one of the most exciting sports out there. It's not for everyone, but if you're a fan, there's nothing like it. The athleticism, the courage, the power, it's just tremendous.
Absolutely. Have you seen the latest match?
I have, Joe. I have to tell you, it was fantastic. The fighters were just incredible. The way they move, the way they strike, it's just amazing. The UFC is doing an incredible job. They're making it better and better every year.
Yeah, it's really something. I have to say, I was a little surprised to hear that you were into the UFC, but it's great to see that you have an appreciation for the sport.
Yeah, I love it, Joe.
So, let's dive into the topic at hand. You've been banned from Twitter, one of the biggest social media platforms in the world. How has that impacted your life?
Let me tell you, Joe, it's been a tremendous change, unbelievable. Twitter was a fantastic platform, the best, to connect with all my tremendous supporters and get my message out to the masses, the biggest masses you've ever seen. But since being banned, I've had to find alternative ways to communicate, and let me tell you, it's been a real eye-opener, believe me.
In another segment of the episode, Trump discussed his future ambitions while Rogan pressed him for details on his plans to make America great again. Trump replied,
"Well, Joe, when it comes to specifics, nobody knows more about specifics than me."
Throughout the video, the AI impressively captured Trump's mannerisms and frequent use of strong adjectives like massive, incredible, and brilliant with ease. Rogan's speech tone also seemed more refined compared to the previous video. However, the artificial Trump falls short in replicating the forceful vocal inflections of his real-life counterpart. The video quickly garnered numerous reactions on Twitter, eventually catching Rogan's attention, who commented, "This is going to get very slippery, kids." Some viewers were astonished by the footage, expressing apprehension about the potential consequences of this rapidly advancing technology. British author Joshua Vernon tweeted, "This is the single most terrifying thing I have ever seen." He further explained that the malicious use of such technology could have far-reaching implications across various sectors and dimensions, likening the situation to opening Pandora's box. The unsettling aspect of this development is evident in the YouTube channel called the Joe Rogan AI Experience, which boasts over 10,000 subscribers and more than 49 videos. The channel description states, "This channel features fictional podcasts between Joe Rogan and guests he hasn't had on the show, with all content generated using AI language models. The ideas and opinions expressed in the podcast do not reflect the thoughts of Joe Rogan or his guests. The content portrayed in this video is purely for entertainment purposes and should not be taken as a representation of the actual beliefs or attitudes of the individuals portrayed. It continues, the use of AI technology to generate this content is solely intended as an exploration of the capabilities of language models and should not be misconstrued as a genuine conversation between the individuals depicted. Any resemblance to actual events, individuals, or entities is purely coincidental. Viewers are encouraged to approach this content with a critical and discerning eye and to understand that the views expressed in this video are not intended to reflect those of the individuals portrayed or any affiliated organizations or entities. However, the concern lies in whether people will take the time to read the description. Will viewers be patient enough to analyze and realize that Donald Trump never said what was stated in the fake podcast before spreading misinformation? Richard Beauregard, a former actuary and business software expert, called the video mind-blowingly dangerous and predicted that in the next 10 years, no information will ever be believable again. He added, "What you'll see and hear will be fake and no one will be able to tell." In late March, AI-generated images of Trump evading and fleeing from the NYPD circulated on Twitter before his federal indictment. Last year, a completely AI-generated episode featured a fabricated interview between Rogan and Steve Jobs. Deepfakes are increasingly common and are here to stay. They are used extensively in Hollywood, such as in the Star Wars franchise, the de-aging in Marvel movies, or the portrayal of the late Paul Walker in Fast and Furious 7. It's only a matter of time before deepfakes replace high-end CGI, saving millions of dollars and countless hours of processing time in filmmaking. However, deepfakes can be and are misused. This type of technology abuse is not new. Deepfakes can depict a person engaging in illegal activities or saying terrible things they never actually did or say. Even if the victim manages to debunk the fake event through witnesses or other means, the initial damage may be irreversible. Deepfake images and artificially generated content have recently made headlines, with numerous warnings about the risks associated with using someone's name and likeness to fabricate a false reality. The production of such content has surged dramatically in recent months that in 2022, the Department of Homeland Security had to publish a report about this. The report emphasized on the increasing threat of deepfake identities on national security. The document included examples of fabricated videos featuring former President Barack Obama, Meta's Mark Zuckerberg, actor Tom Cruise, and others, each garnering millions of views. Just take a look at this TikTok compilation featuring Tom Cruise. It's fake. Or this video of Barack Obama referring to Trump as a total and complete dipstick.
President Trump is a total and complete dipshit.
That's also fake. The examples are endless. There was even a meme where Nicolas Cage was falsely portrayed as the lead actor in a variety of different films. Nowadays, anyone can generate deepfake content featuring any celebrity or well-known person. However, it's evident that we are not ready for the repercussions. Creating deepfakes is alarmingly easy. It primarily involves manipulating images, a practice that is not new, but as the company behind the AI continues to improve its features, will this technology pave the way for a world of alternative facts where truth ceases to exist? As this technology becomes more accessible, widespread exploitation is bound to happen. Numerous potential issues arise when developing AI models based on famous individuals. Legally, celebrities possess a right of publicity, which prevents the unauthorized use of their name, image, likeness, and voice. However, this can be circumvented if the content is intended for comedic or educational purposes. As our technology continues to progress, we must confront the challenges of deepfakes in addition to issues like fake emails, counterfeit Amazon reviews, and inauthentic bot conversations. There was a time when email enabled free communication with vast numbers of strangers, which led to the problem of unsolicited commercial email, or spam. The advent of open computer networks gave rise to viruses and Trojan horses. Today, as we inhabit a world of social media platforms and unfiltered information, we find ourselves inundated with false or misleading content. Social media spam has become the new standard. Come to think of it, this technology is still in its early stages. The world will undoubtedly look very different in 25 years. The most alarming aspect is that, in the future, audio and video evidence from police and citizen interactions may be difficult to use in legal proceedings. When these forms of verification are no longer reliable, the situation becomes truly precarious, as Joe aptly noted. In a world where people are slandered, framed, cancelled without context, and misunderstood, the problem will only escalate. As AI becomes more proficient at modeling cadences, inflection timing, and natural tempo shifts, distinguishing between a fake and a real person will become increasingly difficult. While every technological advancement has its benefits, it remains to be seen how the potential advantages of this development will outweigh the negative impacts in the near future. We are entering an era where it's possible to fabricate any statement and then later claim plausible deniability. Copyright regulation, if at all possible, faces significant challenges. This situation can be frustrating, but the approach to addressing this threat remains consistent through regulation and public education. Enjoy the video? Now watch this one.